Hello, and welcome to the final episode of Therapist Plays the Beginner's Guide. I'll be honest, this series has been really challenging, but also really rewarding to make. And if you can't tell by now, I take these projects super seriously. And so getting it right and making sure I don't disappoint you is everything to me. And to me, the ending of a story is the most important thing to get right. A story needs to have closure and it needs to have a big, important message that leaves the person stunned and changed forever. I hope I've nailed that feeling with this one, and I'm looking forward to sharing it with you. So let's just jump right back into it. Okay. Guard head. Man, glad to see you've arrived safely. We've captured the machine. It's waiting for you now. You can begin the interrogation whenever you'd like. I intend to be quiet. Very good. Just be warned that someone called the press, so we might have a bit of attention on this one. Also, one more thing that you should know about the machine. It calls itself Kota. What? Okay. Kota is the machine.
And of course, it's the machine.
You stopped. Eric was keeping us healthy. You stopped feeding us. It was keeping us alive. Let's go with you stopped feeding us. There's people out there. Can you imagine what pain you've put them through? It's only because your creations that any of us can make it through every day. We get back to trusting you. I have no idea. It sounds to me like we have like a negative relationship with the machine. Let's critique it. How could we possibly go back to trusting you to do this job? I have to admit that the people that you allowed them to suffer. You need to go to the people who are out there and apologize to them. Yeah, that's right. I guess I have no idea, honestly. No? Nothing? All right. Speak to them for you. My followers, my friends, they're followers. It falls on me to deliver bad news, a troubling revelation. The machine will not apologize to us. Yes, that's right. But this is not important. We are stronger than it thinks we are. We will find a way to live without it. We do not need its games. That's right. Let us pay it retribution. I like the sound of that. Oh, okay. Let's destroy its creations. I don't think we need to destroy the machine. Stage again? Oh my god! They should not give me the gun back. I don't know if I can be responsible with it. I seem to only deal in blades on this channel. I think this is the first actual firearm that I've used before. Well, I guess I'll blast them. Oh. This just lets me blast everything. Kota, I'll make sure you are known forever. That your work dies here.
So now the work is becoming self-destructive. And I'll tell you, at the time that I first played this game, shortly after he made it, here's what I'm thinking to myself. I'm thinking that Code is stuck in his own head, and that it's having a very negative effect on him, and that all he needs to do is just start showing his work to people, to get some actual feedback on his games. It might get him out of isolation. And so, as I'm thinking this, I realize that I could be the one to initiate it. Because it would never occur to Kota to start actively soliciting feedback, so what if I did it for him?
Did he ask you to do that?
See the difference it would make. To have more actual conversations with other human beings, would that bring him out of his mental spiral? Would it give him confidence in himself? Would it bring meaning back into his work?
So you thought his games represented a mental decline, and you thought, let's publicize this. Without permission. Let's just show him to everybody. What? What?
So I started showing Kota's work to people. I took this one, and the islands which you just played, the theater, the notes, the house cleaning game, and some of the prison escape games. I brought them to people that I knew and trusted. I asked their opinions. And the great part is that they really loved his games. You know, the point of it all was just to give him some external reference point, but they genuinely loved his work. There was nothing for him to be afraid of.
What makes you think that the games were the only source of his mental state? No, I'm not in control. Put down your weapon. I don't have a weapon. Okay, I have a weapon.
Can you see why I felt like this was the right thing to do?
No.
Because it's the thing that I always feel like I need, to be told that my work is good, that I am good. When someone really connects with a thing that I've made, when they see themselves purely in my work, there's nothing that feels better. And I got to give that very same feeling to my friend. I did something... I really felt like I'd done something good, like I was a good person. I felt like there was a friend who was in trouble and was unhappy and maybe didn't like themselves, and I could fix it. If I could give him this gift, maybe I could fix the problem. When they told me how much they enjoyed his games, it was the best feeling. It was the absolute best feeling. It made me feel so happy, so beautifully, beautifully happy.
Oh God, it's like, it's reverse.
So anyway, Kota finishes this game, and then really he just kind of takes off for a while. So this is June of 2011, and I didn't hear anything from him for several weeks, I guess. And so out of nowhere, one day I get an email, and it's got a private link to a new game of Kota's. This one is called The Tower. And to my knowledge, it's the last game that Kota ever made. So let's take a look.
Before I was saying that he had like that problem with emotional reasoning. Like if I feel like I did something bad, then I must be bad. Which is typically how that stuff shows up. Like, it usually has a negative sentiment. We visit those delusions of self and try to supply them with a dose of reality that is often leaning towards like, things are not as bad as we seem. We're not as bad people. It's all in the name of like resolving distortions of self-esteem. But he has the reverse, which is, I feel like I did something good, so this must have been a good thing. I feel good about this, and so it must inherently be a good thing for people to feel good about. Like, It's like the opposite. It's like we need to put some fucking barriers on the self-esteem. Like the delusion is, it's inverted. It's like a delusion of grandeur and a major projection about, like, because that's what I need. That's what satisfies my self-esteem. That must be what Kota needs. Bro, you have no idea, though, in reality.
And this is where I have trouble saying anything meaningful about Kota's work. Because more than anything else, the tower just feels distant. It feels like it's trying to distance itself from the world. It's a very cold game.
Tower, okay.
This room actually has a maze in it. Except that all the walls of the maze are invisible. And then every time you touch one of the walls, there's this awful flashing and noise. So the experience is really miserable. It goes beyond not being meant to be played. It actually seems to despise the player for trying to play it at all.
Yeah, that actually is really fucking uncomfortable.
Show you the rest of the levels, so when you're ready to continue, press the use key on your gamepad, and I'll put a bridge over the maze.
Yeah, I'm absolutely gonna do it this time. I do not want to be fucking flashed like that anymore.
And to be fair, it's not like this is the first game that's needed some modification to be playable. Like the house cleaning game. You know, that one used to actually loop the cleaning chores and you just cleaned a house forever. I had to cut it off so that you could exit the house and the game would actually end. But that game had an idea that it was actually trying to communicate. What's the deeper idea behind the invisible maze?
It probably leave me alone. Probably like stop. I think that's the message. It's stop and leave me alone. That's what I'm going with. Like, I want to actively harm you with red flashing lights. And I wanted to torture you forever with, like, dull fucking cleaning. It feels invasive.
The way past this challenge is to randomly guess the 6-digit code. Like the invisible maze, it's frustrating to me, because it's the opposite of everything else that Kota has made.
No, it isn't.
Encourage thought or...
No, it's exactly the same, actually.
It doesn't ask anything of me, except a lot of my time. If I could have reached him during this time, then maybe I could have asked him, but I couldn't. I still don't really understand why this is here.
Bro, I'm starting to think...
For you here, though, so that we can move on.
I'm starting to think that all these games may have actually been designed for you. They were designed to waste your time. Like, all of the playable games. They were designed to annoy the shit out of you with the table cleaning, table setting one. And they were designed to actively make you go insane or hurt you in the case of the prison ones and various others. And it's basically like an analogy for someone setting a boundary for you, and then you just like invasively finding a way to interpret that boundary as a cry for help and then ignoring it, which is super toxic. Which, in the fiction of the game, may be the message. And in the reality of why the real Davey Reedon wrote this, maybe it is saying something to the effect of the relationship between the creator and those who receive the creation. You try to make something for someone. You try to put a certain kind of meaning behind it. What's your relationship like with them? When things get too much, and people want to know you too well, do you start trying to put up walls? And do people listen? Or do they just go behind that? Do they just dig into the code of the game and like solve the puzzles? And I don't know. They reject your limitations.
The switch to open this door is actually on the other side of the door, meaning that it's literally impossible to solve from this side. So even if you somehow brute forced your way through the first 2 challenges and you got to this point, there's actually just no way to progress. And it's scary for me, the idea of Kota cutting himself off entirely, just saying, that's it, that's the end of the conversation, not giving me any way to fix the problem. I feel like a failure, I guess, when I can't fix the problem. But I can open this door for you, so let me do that.
Bro, I think you should really focus on your own problems. Like, you can't fix yourself by fixing someone else. When someone sets a boundary with you, it's probably because you make them uncomfortable. And it's time to learn to accept and respect that. And look inward at why they might do that. I don't see that happening for this character.
For not understanding this game? I don't know why I would be. It's not like everything needs to have a solution, but I feel it somehow. I feel like I failed, and I don't understand why. I remember, it's June of 2011. I'm playing this for the very first time, and as I'm playing, I'm thinking to myself, I don't know this person. I have no idea who this person is. It wasn't the guy I knew. It wasn't my friend.
Yeah.
So many conclusions from looking at all of his work up to this point, and then suddenly none of them...
None of them what? None of them what? Because you don't know them. You have a fantasy about them. What is it? What is it?
I had been trying to, though. That was the thing. For years, I was trying to get to know him, to understand who he actually was and what he stood for. I asked him so many times to please just tell me what his games mean to him. I asked him please to tell me what the 3 dots mean. And he wouldn't.
I knew there was something to the dots. I knew there was something to them in the meta narrative. Like, obviously they literally mean nothing. The point they serve is to be a breadcrumb for the fictional character of Davy Reedon to stumble over. And I guess what I take is, like, maybe he had a lot of those experiences, People asking him what the Stanley Parable means. What does it really mean? What's his interpretation? Trying to get to know him through that. And I'm sure that what a project to embark on, to make the beginner's guide, which is about people over investing in their assumptions about you as a real person based on your creations, and then to make a creation that literally puts you in the creation as a stand-in for yourself, that is people are naturally going to impress upon, and plenty of people are going to think that that's really how you think about things. Literally no one who has ever played this game knows an actual real thing about Davy Reedon, because this is a character. But I'm to put yourself in the crosshairs of that story is kind of brilliant. It's kind of genius. Maybe he's really a genius, but we don't know. We don't actually know. Splash of color.
I just felt so strongly that if I could have connected with him, that if I could have somehow made his work my own, that I would finally be once and for all happy. It was that I needed to see myself in someone else. I needed to be someone other than me. But he stopped and left, and it felt somehow like I had failed.
Because you did. I actually think that this is a failure. I think it's a failure to develop insight. Coming back to that point, which is where he's stuck right now, okay? Like, he knows what the problem is. He's aware that he was looking for himself in someone else, and that he feels like a failure. Why? Well, I think it's because in this fiction, as many people do, it's easier to look for yourself in someone else and use that as validation to stay the way you are than to recognize that who you are needs some work. It's much easier if you find someone who is like you or you want to be like and just mirror that or impose yourself on that rather than like actually learn about yourself. Make your own shit. Think what you want to think about it. Why does it fucking matter what Kota's meaning was? Like, be brave enough to take your own meaning out of it and for that to be enough for you. Be secure with the idea that your meaning may be wrong and that he might want to have no personal relationship with you at all.
Where did I screw up?
At the very beginning. Just no insight.
I'm
Davey.
the reason that you stopped making games, aren't I? It's because of what I did. I poisoned it for you.
Thank you for your interest in my games. I need to ask you not to speak to me anymore. There's likely more than one way to read this story. But is it possible that, like, Davey Reedon in the game kind of represents the typical fan of Kota? The real Davey Reedon. Who likes to make stuff that borders on deep and meaningful and is just absolute nonsense just for the sake of it. Which is kind of the Stanley Parable. Like, my relationship with that game was to do exactly that. Like, to take my own meaning out of it, to parallel it to mental health. But it's not like I took possession of the game and said that, like, the meaning I'm making out of it is, like, overriding your meaning or any other player's meaning or the creator's meaning. It's like I had my own fun using it as a launch pad to discuss real relationships and real psychodynamics that parallel those represented in the game. You know, I went in search of something deep to take away from it, partially because for me to make a good creation based on that, I want to have something meaningful to add to it. Like, I don't just want to play a game and react to it. I don't just want to put commentary into the world and think that that's enough. Like, to say something meaningful about someone else's work and that's enough for me, you know? It's not. I feel like if I'm going to do something like this, if I'm going to engage with a piece of art, the way I experience it and the way you experience that should be something completely different than the original work's intention. Because otherwise, you could just play the game. You could just read about it. You could watch someone else play it. You know, I want to do something different. And at the same time, like, there's space for things to not be meaningful and for them to just be sort of slapstick sometimes. And that's what makes it fun. But like with Davey and Kota and maybe the audience and the real Davey, there are aspects of it that challenge that sense of fun and challenge that sense of meaning. But then if Davey, let's say the real Davey, ever felt like this, he still made another game. Still made the beginner's guide. I think when you weigh out the pros and cons of, like, whatever your relationship with your creation is and relationship you have with the people who enjoy that creation, at the end of the day, he did still make something new. And At the end of the day, so will I.
I don't think I ever told you this, but when I took your work and I was showing it to people, it actually felt... it felt as though I were responsible for something important and valuable.
The games are about me, and I'm a part of their iteration on meaning and mechanics, and they're trying to say something, and I'm the main audience, then maybe that means I am someone important and doing something important. But all of that is a substitute for getting that need met by yourself, from yourself. It's not healthy.
And the people who played them, they treated me like I was important. They really listened and cared about what I had to say. Even though I was showing your work, I felt good about myself. Finally, for a moment, while I had that, I liked myself.
You've so infected my personal space that it's possible I did begin to plant solutions in my work somewhere, hidden between my games. So it was a very vicarious sense of purpose. There was an answer, a meaning. Would it make you any happier? Would you stop taking my games and showing them to people against my wishes? Giving them something that is not yours to give, violating the one boundary that keeps me safe. Would you stop changing my games? Stop adding lampposts to them? Oh, shit. The lamppost was supposed to be the thing that tied them all together, wasn't it? And if that's not real, then almost none of it is.
And then you stopped, and I didn't have anything left to show people. I just had to be with myself. And as soon as that happened, there was no feeling at all. Nothing. Less than nothing. What does that mean?
Holy shit, though. I can't help but also feel like called out myself for this line because what did I do with the Stanley Parable? The game is about not having an ending, and I just gave it one. Holy shit. Yeah. I basically put a lamppost in it. I gave it a different ending. I wonder, though. I wonder if that's invasive. Because, yeah, I could go both ways on it. That, at least in this storyline, like, and I've kind of been talking about this the whole time. It's the extension from, like, what I'm doing to someone's work to thinking that means anything about the real person behind the work, which was what Davey Reedon in this game was doing to Kota. You know, I could see this as like a straight up critique of any kind of transformative media, like commentaries, let's plays, and that sort of thing. But I don't know. I don't think that there's like an inherent distaste for analysis or in like taking your own meaning from something. Maybe it's just the modification part. But then again, it would be the same problem to assume that what Coda's saying to Davey Reedon is actually what the real Davey Reedon thinks. Like, I think it's the same needless leap in logic to go from like, oh, that if I know for sure that the real person behind this would hate, you know, what people are doing to his games. Like, we don't actually know that. Just like Davey Reedon in this game doesn't know anything about the real Kota. We don't know anything about the real Davy Reedon. What we know is that he made these games to comment on certain things, and also just probably because it was fun for him. But in reality, we do not know. And so it's not for me to also personalize and say, oh, I modified. So I'm the target of this critique. I actually have no idea. If I take this for what it is, like truly, if I let this be what it is, it's about two people who had a misunderstanding about what their relationship really was and how they really felt about each other. Anything additional is perception and assumption about how that applies to real or imagined ideas about myself, about other people who've played this game, or about the creator. The only true statement is this is a story about the character of Davy Reedon and the character of Kota. And all of the messages contained within are sort of left to interpretation and are only explicit in the context of this narrative. Okay. That wasn't just a bunch of cope, right? Like, the game isn't calling me out specifically for taking someone else's work and just adding on to it with superficial commentary, right? Can't what I'm doing be meaningful too? I mean, I'm helping people here. People tell me all the time that my videos teach them about real mental health. They say that I'm a good therapist and that these videos are something special all on their own. You all even said so in the last video, that you're learning a lot. That's not being a leech, okay? I'm doing my own thing here. And this is what I've been saying since the beginning, okay? My work needs to be important, and I need it to be taken seriously to have that kind of impact. So, no, I don't think that commenting on this game or any other game is being a leech. I'm not a leech, okay? I'm not doing anything wrong at all. So, no, I'm not gonna accept this. These videos are important. And by the end of this series, I'm gonna make my own meaning out of it, so that that's no longer up for debate. Or maybe I'm just trying to talk myself out of feeling bad that I put a lamppost in the Stanley Parable by making it end. When I'm around you, I feel physically ill. You desperately need something and I can't give it to you. I literally don't have it. Okay, I think this is yeah, a lot more toxic though. Struggling to come up with new ideas is not making me depressed. Low points are just a part of the process. True. The fact that you think I'm frustrated or broken says more about you than about me. Also true. Facts. I realize that this doesn't make sense to you just yet, which is fine. You're not my problem to solve. God damn. Like, Kota's actually spitting facts. But I do hope that one day it clicks and that you make peace with this thing you're wrestling.
I'm afraid that I did something really stupid because I don't like myself.
When you finally see what I am talking about, don't say anything. One more time.
That's why I'm releasing this collection of your work, is because I haven't been able to find any other way to reach you. I've tried everything. And so a part of me has hope that if I put this compilation out into the world, and if I put my name on it, that maybe enough people will play it so that it'll find its way to you, so that I can tell you that I'm sorry. I know I screwed up. If I apologize to you truly and deeply, will you start making games again? Please, I need to feel okay with myself again. And I always felt okay as long as I had your work to see myself in. I mean, is something wrong with me? Because I know that I did an awful thing, and I'm doing it again right now. Like, I'm showing people your work, but I can't stop myself from doing it. That's how badly I need to feel something again, like I'm an addict. There has to be something wrong with me. Can I apologize? What if I tell you I was wrong? Will that work? Will that fix it? I don't know. I don't think it will, but there's nothing else that I can do. Just tell me what you want. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please, start making games again. Please help me. Please give me some of whatever it is that makes you complete. I want whatever that wholeness is that you just summoned out of nothing and you put into your work. You were complete in some way that I never was. And I want to know how to be a good person. I want to know how not to hate myself. Please. I'm fading, and all I want is to know that I'm going to be okay.
That sounds a lot like some of these moments I have in my videos. Oh man, I totally feel it. I totally feel it. Every time I have like a fake crash out.
More love, more praise, more people telling me that I'm good. Always more. It's like a disease.
Well, it's something everyone's deficient in. Both the self-esteem and the balance of, you know, taking yourself seriously and not taking yourself seriously, and wanting recognition because it's part of how we connect with people, but not depending on it for all of your self-worth. Everybody's got some degree of struggle with that, some more than others. Again, it comes back to that emotional reasoning. Doing something bad and feeling bad about it doesn't inherently make you a bad person. I mean, there is a desire to change, but there's a block to what the change should be. There's a desire for insight, but there's a unwillingness to get that insight internally and not vicariously through someone else's work. I think that's partially why my focus with like the way I do these commentaries is so much on like the game is just the prompt. I just want to use it as a prompt to reflect something to take into yourself, like to learn about how your own behaviors and perspectives can be in disharmony. To learn about finding your own insight. You know, every little lecture I draw is, I want that to be something that actually has real world value to you beyond just this part of the experience, which is just mostly entertainment, you know. These videos are here to entertain first and foremost, but that only lasts until the end of the video. But hopefully whatever we discuss along the way is something that actually goes beyond it. Because I don't want people to rely on me or anything I make or any of the things I'm even talking about to be the source of change. I want that to be from you. And that's really the whole modality of every therapist. I'm not there to give advice, not there to be someone's friend, not there to be connected to them in any other way than as a helpful guide and a mirror for what's in their blind spot. But the change always comes from you, from them. And the other important thing about a therapeutic relationship is that it is quite unlike every other relationship in people's lives, which is that it is designed to end. There is a natural ending to it built into the work. Most relationships end because of conflict or drifting apart or anything else, but they don't have a definitive end planned from the beginning the way that a therapeutic one is. And it's meant to be a one-way street as well, which is quite unlike other relationships. And I think for the character of Reedon in this, yeah, it's tough sometimes when you're in one of these relationships and it feels like you can always salvage it. There's always something I could do. What if I just apologize? What if I just like make it up to someone? And sometimes you just can't. And when someone else decides that it's over, it's over. You don't get a choice in that. Hopefully that's something we take inwardly and learn about why that's frustrating for us and get some of that insight, but sometimes it just leads to more desperate longing for validation and approval from people who really can't give that to you because it's something you need from yourself.
Solution.
Not every problem has a solution, man.
I guess if someone had told me ahead of time that he just really enjoyed making prison games, maybe I wouldn't have thought he was so desperate.
It's someone else's responsibility to tell you that?
He was depressed. Maybe he just likes making prisons.
That's why there's no insight here, because it always comes down to that. Why didn't Kota just tell me? Like, bro, he kind of was telling you. We don't know what the conversation would have looked like in reality, but I'm sure there were actual conversations or paralanguage that was like, hey, I don't have time to do that, or whatever. Like, there was probably soft suggestions of boundaries. But, like, he literally sent you a game where you sit in jail for an hour. Like, he was trying to tell you, leave me alone. Stop this for a long time. And so, like, saying, why didn't he tell me? Why didn't someone else tell me? There's just no responsibility for the self-discovery.
Even now, the disease is telling me to stop. Don't show people what a shitty person you are. They'll hate you.
How much do you want to bet that, like, critics of this game, like, accused the real Davy Reedon of, like, doing this? This is reminding me of the end of the Stanley Parable. Well, not the end, but the epilogue. The sand.
If I knew that my life depended on finding something to be driven by other than validation, what would that even be? It's strange, but the thought of not being driven by external validation is unthinkable. Like, I actually cannot conceive of what that would be like.
Man, yeah. This is a very extreme representation of self-esteem deficit. There's just no ability to self-validate. Which not only makes you dependent on that validation from other people, but highly more sensitive to other people's judgment, because, like, all of your validation depends on them. And so when they judge you, it's like crippling.
What now? I think I need to go. And I'm sorry, because I know that I said that I would be here and I would walk you through this, but I'm starting to feel like I have a lot of work to do. I have a lot that I need to make up for. And so I'm just gonna... Okay.
Turn